And I said, hey, why don't you try the cranberry sauce in there? Because, muddled cherries kind of look like cranberries in the cranberry sauce. And I picked them up just that day from the Mr. Ryan Roosh from Roosh Century Farms in central Wisconsin. He gave me a nice little tour of his cranberry farm. Organic cranberries. Fantastic.
Sounds like another podcast guest.
Yeah. Yes. So just a little cranberry sauce in your old fashioned.
How about
Make it the rest of the way however you like, your favorite way.
You have found Authentic Business Adventures, the business program that brings you the struggle stories and triumphant successes of business owners across the land. Downloadable audio episodes can be found in the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. We're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie, and today we're welcoming / preparing to learn from Carrie Stevens of Fed Up Foods. Carrie, I'm so freaking excited. We're talking about food, which is always good.
Always good.
We're talking about pickles, which is always good.
Absolutely.
And we're talking business, so I feel like we got the trifecta here.
Yeah, absolutely.
How's it going today?
Good.
All right. Tell us the story. What is Fed Up Foods?
So Fed Up Foods is a woman-owned, Wisconsin-based artisanal canned goods company. So I purchased the business this past August, so I'm fairly new to it. However, it has been around for about 5 years. So it was started by a woman in central Wisconsin. And her background, she was a produce buyer at the food co-op and kind of different roles like that, very involved in the farmer's market. And she saw a lot of produce going to waste. And that was bothersome to her. Well, and if you, we also own a farm, I'll talk about that more, but for a while I was getting produce from the grocery store, feeding it to our animals when it's, there's a lot of beautiful produce, but what happens to that produce after they can't sell it anymore?
So you would get the stuff that was blem, essentially, or just didn't look pretty?
Yeah, or it was too, it had been there for a couple weeks and it was meh.
Okay.
It was going mushy or whatever.
Pigs like it, humans don't?
Pigs love it, right.
All right.
Yeah, and humans go, So anyways, what do you do with that produce as it's going bad or almost going bad and it's not selling? So the previous owner had started with doing some home canning, home pickling. And in Wisconsin, there's a pickle bill, so you can pickle at home and sell at farmers markets up to a certain dollar limit.
That's fairly new, right?
I don't know the history of it.
Okay. Last 10 years or something like that, I feel.
Maybe. And then there's the cottage baker law too. So that's a different one. Bakers, they can just bake in their house and sell.
Is there a limit? Like you can't.
For bakers, no. I do not believe so, but don't quote me on that.
Okay.
Contact your lawyer for that.
All right. Fair.
But for picklers, canners, there is a dollar limit. So once you hit $5,000 in sales for the year, then you flip over to not being under the pickle law. So the previous owner had grown the business past the pickle law. So that means I now produce out of a commercial kitchen. I have all sorts of licenses and fun inspections. But that also means the product I'm producing is pH tested and I temp test everything. So it is safe to consume. But she started it from that under the pickle law, making it in her house, selling it at farmers markets, and grew a business to where it's in retail stores, food co-ops, kind of boutique stores or stores that specialize in local products. So shelf-stable product that is taking a consumable product that is going to go bad and preserving it so you can put it in your pantry and eat it when you get to it. So I purchased the business and am continuing the same recipes, getting restocked in the same stores, selling through a website. We also sell it through our farm. So we have a customer base that purchases from our farm. So we sell through there too, and just kind of looking at different new avenues as well. But it's been quite the learning experience.
I bet.
My husband and I have started a business before, but purchasing a business is a little different. So lot of interesting learning, but good, bad, and otherwise, right? Some good things, some things that I'll change, but it all is a good learning process. So it's been interesting, and little bumps in the road, but my husband, it keeps reminding me that one thing at a time, and just
Yeah.
it's going to take time. So with anything, it is going to take time to figure it out. I burnt a whole batch of pear sauce, and
You burnt a whole batch? How big is a whole batch? Are we talking a cauldron?
like 100 some jars.
Well, that's a fair amount.
Yeah, that's a
All
fair
right.
amount. Yeah, I mean, but my kids still like it. So hey,
Oh, well, there you go. Maybe it's a new product, right? Burnt
right,
pear sauce.
right. So white elephants at Christmas is gonna be fun.
If people drink Zima, they'll eat
Right.
burnt pear sauce,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, it's not totally burnt. It's just a little burnt.
All right. A little, it's charcoal, right? Like, what is that tequila they
like
call
a
it?
zest of charcoal.
Tell me, so you have a farm that you butcher stuff at, right?
Yeah, so we raise beef cattle, pigs, chickens, chickens for meat and chickens for eggs, and sell all direct to consumer. So we purchased the farm 7 years ago, moved onto the farm, it'll be 6 years ago this fall, and pre-pandemic, so fall of 2019, we took our first steers to the butcher, sold to friends and family, and then when the pandemic hit, I said to my husband, and maybe I should have taken these words back, but I said, hey, I think we can sell this. And now so that was fall of 2019, when we took 2 steers into the butcher. Now we take anywhere from 3 to 5 steers into the butcher every month. And we do about 50 pigs a year. I did 450 meat chickens last year. I'm going to double it this year.
Wow.
Because I sold out in about 2 weeks.
Holy cow.
Yeah, so I got to be really careful what I say, right?
Yeah. That is before you know it. So did you have to expand your farm, or?
So we have a fairly small farm in the grand scheme of acreage goes. So because farmland is pretty pricey.
Yeah, turns out.
And nobody around us wants to sell to us, or to not sell to us, but nobody around us is selling. So this year, what we did for the summer, because we raise a lot of our cattle on pasture, we sent our cattle up to a cool farm in Winneconne area where there's a guy that raises or trains horses. So he needs the cattle to train his horses.
Oh.
So he grazes our cattle on his land. It keeps the grass down, gives his cattle something to do, or his horses something to do, and it's a win-win. So he does the whole roping them if there's a problem.
Oh, really?
Everything.
He's a real cowboy.
He's a real cowboy.
In Wisconsin.
Oh, absolutely.
Who
Yeah.
knew? All right.
So, and now my kids want a horse, but that's not going to happen.
One animal at a time.
Right, right. So we work with a couple different farmers. We have one that's real close to us too, that we have our cattle on his pasture, and that works out well. So we've kind of grown that way. Chickens don't take up a lot of space, so I can expand my chicken flock pretty easily. And then pigs, those we have room for too. So it's the cattle are probably the thing that, but it's worked out well too. It's called custom grazing, so we custom graze with other farmers.
How cool is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me a really quick story about the horse training with the cattle.
Yeah.
How does that? I've never even heard of that.
So and there's probably way more to it that I don't understand, the horse thing. I'm not a horse person. So I believe he trains, like maybe has other people's horses he trains, and then he has horses that he trains and sells. But we do pasture intensive management. So we move in summer, not in the winter, spring, summer, fall, we move our cattle every day. So we give them a part of the field, a part of the pasture. And that way they eat that part, then we move them the next day to the next part. That part gets to rest for however long it takes to get back around, 30 days, 60 days. Good for the soil, good for root health, all of that. And the cattle then don't get real picky, because if you give them everything, they'll just eat the stuff they really like, because I would do the
sure,
same
right?
thing, right? So then they eat a more varied diet. So same thing when they're grazing on someone else's land. Instead of, we walk out to the pasture and we are on foot and we move the lines and move our cattle. He comes out on horseback and moves the cattle with the horse.
Gotcha. So it's exercise for the horse that's actually accomplishing a task.
Right.
Rather than just riding around for fun.
Right, exactly. Okay. And the other thing, the benefit to working cattle on horseback is he's up higher. When we're moving cattle on foot, we're kind of eye level with the cattle. When he's up on the horseback, then he can see. So when cattle aren't feeling, if there's an issue, if they're not feeling good, first they'll go to the middle of the herd. And then when they're really not well, the herd will kick them out.
Oh.
Yeah. So if they're in the middle of the herd, when we're on foot, we don't notice them. And if he's on horseback, he can see that and he can address any issues there are. So an example, we had a calf that had foot rot this summer, and he noticed it right away and roped it and treated it. And it took a little while. It wasn't getting better. So he, was in communication with my husband and then treated it a couple times. And then my husband checked with him and he said, I think it's doing better because I'm going to need a faster horse to catch it now.
Oh.
So, okay, well, let's leave that one alone.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But yeah, so then it took our cattle a little while, I think, to get used to the horses. We almost had to go pick one of our cows up because she wasn't minding the horses.
Oh no. Okay.
So, but she must have got her act together. But different than they're used to. So our cattle are very used to us and our voices and stuff. We are out by them every day. So just somebody else taking care of them. They got to get used to it and got to get used to the horses kind of pushing them the direction they need to go versus me saying, come on. So I don't know. And they, like, my husband will say, okay, come on, girls. And they'll start moving because they know that he's gonna,
just like calling a dog.
Oh yeah. They know when we come out there, and they get really mad if I come out in the afternoon to do something and I don't move them to the next section.
We're hungry. You want taller grass here.
Then they start mooing at me. So they know they're smart. So.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's it was a whole new fun experience. So we're hoping to do that again next summer. And
very cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's shift gears to the pickle thing or the canning thing.
Yeah.
The jar thing. I don't know what you want to call it.
Yeah.
First of all, did you know about the business before you bought it?
So apparently I must have followed the business on Instagram.
Did you say apparently? I just accidentally followed.
Apparently, somehow along the way, I started following the business on Instagram. And then one night, doom scrolling, I saw her post about business for sale. And I thought, oh, interesting. And I screenshot it, texted it to my husband. Again, I don't know why I do these things.
I accidentally bought a pickle company.
He said, oh, check it out. So I messaged her and we had a little Zoom meeting. She had, in Wisconsin, and they work with farms and similar food businesses outside of Wisconsin. There's FFI, it's Food Finance Institute, I believe, don't quote me again, tied with the University of Wisconsin. And they are super helpful. They do a lot of classes that I've done some before, but they also do I'm forgetting the name of it, but they do a program that's like maybe 3 to 6 months long where they kind of work with you through the process of getting your books together and getting your business plan fine-tuned and figuring out where you're going with the business. And they really, a lot of different experts in the food industry help you fine-tune and maybe get rid of the stuff that's not doing income generating in your business, and how do you grow your business? How do you scale your business? So anyways, the previous owner had gone through the Food Finance Institute program and had a whole presentation put together with, the information on the business, and, because she had gone through it and then had decided that she couldn't grow the business to the next level. So
Because
to time commitment,
okay,
things like
so she had another day job, something like that.
right.
Okay.
Right. So she knew that she wasn't the right person to take it to the next level, but that there maybe was someone out there that could.
All right.
We shall see.
Yeah. So you saw the scroll thing. You
Yeah.
took the screenshot.
Yeah.
You sent it to your husband. Husband's like, check it out.
Check it out. We did.
How do you price a company like that? Well, I guess any
Yeah.
company, it's
Yeah.
always like, how do you price it?
Right.
So how do you figure it out?
Yeah. So, little in every kind of business, little different, but there's some things that, my husband being the accountant more person than I am could tell you more all the
Sure.
acronyms and numbers and things, but
EBITDA. What is EBITDA?
right. I'm like, what, huh? But I'll give you the super simple. So there are some equipment, which easy to
Okay, assets.
yeah,
Sure.
right. Some product, easy to
Inventory,
put a
all
price on that, and then the rest was website, customer list, recipes. So all things that were pretty simple to put a value to.
Sure.
Um,
Then you have the blue sky of the logo and the brand recognition and all that kind of stuff.
right.
Okay.
So there, in grand scheme of things, in buying a business, there's not a building, there's not a whole lot to it. So it was pretty simple to break it down into those buckets and
Okay.
she had put some time into it too, and what value she had put on things, and it all made pretty good sense.
All right. I imagine there wasn't the line out the door of people that were ready to buy.
No, I don't think there was.
So
not everybody's like, I want to buy a canning company.
Yeah, right. Let me jump on that.
Yeah. So our, just being, I guess, people who raise food already and like to eat food, and maybe that's part of it.
I loved canned goods. Yeah.
Yeah. My dad once, when I was high school age, he's like, well, if you like, and I think it's an actual quote from somebody, but don't quote me on it. He's like, well, if you like to eat, you got to get a job. And I was like, well, shoot, I like to eat. So, but if I have a job making food, then it serves dual purpose.
Yeah.
So anyways, I had, I have a brother who has his own company too. And I had kind of run it past him, and he said, well, that's actually a good bolt-on business to your business.
A bolt-on business. What a nice phrase.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So he's more in the, he makes tool organizers. So bolt-on business makes sense to him, right? I would say add-on business, right? So, a good complementary business to our existing business. So it seemed like a good fit, and, it didn't seem like anything extreme, like we've got to take out a loan for forever and a day to do this. It seems like it was something pretty feasible and doable. So,
right on.
Yeah.
Tell me a story about the kitchen that you actually make the stuff in.
Yeah.
Because that's always a huge thing when it comes to food, especially commercial food.
Right. So I've got all these fun licenses and inspections.
Oh, nice. So all the papers.
Right. So, you're well, I don't know, you're doing good or bad. Last week I got a call from Quick Trip, which was fun.
Yeah.
And I also got a call from the FDA, which I was like, maybe this is not fun. But she just verifying some information.
Sure.
So with my with the canning business, I'm a food canning establishment, and lots of other fun things. I had to go through a class for acidified foods production.
What did you call it?
Acidified foods.
Acidified foods.
So pickles are acidified foods. So when you're canning, a lot of things that you're canning, you're adding vinegar to change the acidity, and that's why you can have a jar of pickles on the shelf.
How have I never heard it called acidified foods? That's great. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Huh.
So then I get to do a pH test when I make things. So to check the acidity, and it has to be under a certain level, and I record that, and then we're all good and we're safe.
At what point are you checking that? Is it when it's in the big cauldron, or do you have to do each jar?
No. It is after I produce it within 24 hours.
Okay.
So then I just have to take one jar and test it.
All right.
And then so the reason you're testing pH is because, so like heat, when you're canning and you put it in the canner, you're heating it up. That's killing, like E. coli and listeria and those kind of bacteria. But botulism spores can live, like the spores can stay in there. And so if the pH is low enough, they won't grow.
Got it.
That's why I test it, because botulism you cannot see or smell.
Oh.
Mm.
All right.
Yeah. So
all kinds of fun.
So now you're going to think twice when you open a jar of pickles.
A trust.
Right.
A trust, yeah.
So that's why I test pH, is to make sure that the pH is low enough that the botulism spores won't grow and make anyone sick or kill them. Yeah.
So when you are making these jars of pickles, are you making them in the jars, or are you making them in the big? I keep using the word cauldron.
Cauldron. So. Oh, yeah. So the cauldron is a good word for it. So there's a couple different products that I make, and I make them a couple different ways. So there is, so I don't actually have a straight pickle recipe that I make.
It's relish.
It's relish. I make a pickle relish.
Excellent. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So the pickle relish, everything gets chopped up, and that gets inversion canned. So
I'm picturing a can upside down.
Can upside down.
Okay.
And then you turn it back over.
All right.
It has a specific temperature. I have to temperature check and a time limit, and then that's good. But then I do pickle relish. I do pickled beets, 2 different kinds of pickled beets, a maple ginger beet and a kickin' beet with jalapenos in it.
You say a kickin' beet?
Kickin' beet.
Kickin' beet.
Mm-hmm,
right.
a little spicy. And those I put in a canner. So I have a canner that holds like 42 jars at a time. It's a big monster.
This is a machine.
It's just so if you think of like those canners, like the round canner that goes on the cooktop.
Okay.
So this one is just square and much bigger, and it goes on the cooktop. It goes over 2 burners.
All right.
Yeah. So beets, I pack them, put the brine in, and then put them in the canner, do my time that I need to have them in there, and then pull them out. And then the cauldron does come into play. See?
Nice. Woo.
Except it's not really a cauldron, but let's call it a cauldron.
Do they call it a big pan? What do they call it?
So steam kettle.
Steam kettle.
Steam kettle.
Well,
yeah. It
fun.
looks like a cauldron.
Okay.
So I use a steam kettle when I make applesauces and pear sauce. So the kitchen I'm using right now has a steam kettle that I can fit 250 pounds of apples in at a time.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's a lot of apples.
That's a lot of apples.
That is a lot to stir.
Well, it has a stir.
Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise,
250
I'd be like
pounds.
Popeye.
What in the world?
Yeah.
That's a lot of apples.
That is a lot of apples.
All right.
Yes. So the fun thing is, going back to the original owner and the problem with the produce and how do we extend its life, right? So a lot of the produce that I use is, maybe it's not just going to the grocery store and saving it before it goes bad, but it's going directly to the farms, the producers that grow it, and getting the sometimes they call them B grade, or the ones that aren't perfect. So the imperfect produce. So the orchard that I've been getting apples from this fall, I get their B grade apples. So those are the apples that have maybe a little blemish, or they have like a weird crease in them. They don't look like a nice.
Sure, they're not perfect perfect apple.
Yeah. But they still taste really good, and they taste really good in applesauce.
All right.
So, so those are the things that's kind of how we can kind of give them a life, and they can shine as applesauce instead of just being, deer food, I guess.
Yeah, I guess that's the big question, right? When a farmer has this produce, and do you call it B grade? What would they normally do with it?
So they would try to sell them as applesauce apples to people, but most people aren't coming. So I went and picked up apples on Tuesday. The apple orchard, this was their last weekend, and they said, well, thanks for your business. You've really helped us this year. So they would try to sell those through the season as applesauce apples, but they probably didn't have any other customers coming to buy 300 pounds of apples like, I don't know, 4 times this season.
All right.
So I buy 300, 400 pounds of apples at a time. That takes a burden off of them. They don't have to try to sell them,
Right.
20 pounds at a time to people.
Is that what they would do? Oh my gosh, it would take forever.
Right.
All right.
Right. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me a story really quick about the apples specifically.
Mhm.
I remember being at an apple orchard, and in my head, an apple, you got whatever, Granny Smith and 5 other ones.
Mhm.
I didn't know there's 500 freaking varieties
There's a
of
lot
apples.
yeah.
So when you are getting these hundreds of pounds of apples, is it just a smorgasbord?
No, they ask me what I want, and I do a mix of apples in my applesauce. So let's give an example. Yesterday I used Golden Delicious, some Ida Red. What else did I use? Evercrisp.
You could probably just make up a name. I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
They're just, they're like tile floor. Okay. I guess that's the apple.
The red apples, the green apples. I used a little bit of all.
Okay.
So there's some that are not as great for applesauce, but I can kind of do different, I use a bigger percentage of the nice sauce apples and then can mix in some other ones.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So
Tell me, I want to shift gears to the relish a little bit.
yeah.
This is just me not knowing.
Yeah.
So apologies for being ignorant here.
Oh.
Do you make the pickles or pickle the cucumbers first and then chop them? Or do you chop the cucumbers and then pickle them to become the relish? Which comes first?
Chop first.
Chop first.
Chop first. So in the pickle relish, it's onions, garlic, pickles, and some jalapenos.
Okay.
Chopped. And then the brine is added to them. So the brine to pickle them. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And is that made in a big cauldron, or those are in the jar?
No, that is not made in a big cauldron. But it's everything I'm doing. It's still small batch. But it's
That's
like
the game, right?
it's like 50 pounds of cucumbers at a time.
That's still a lot.
That's still a lot of, that's a lot of cucumbers. So,
What's interesting to me is you learn about food businesses and stuff like that. Food business is perishable. The packaging's expensive.
mhm.
It's equipment intensive. Storing it, you got cooling and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. And then you look at the price of a jar of whatever, and sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, that's amazingly
Yeah.
expensive. You're like,
Yeah.
you know what went into making that
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah.
And then you look at this little stick of memory where I'm just like, people are stamping these out in a
Yeah.
manufacturing plant. And technology may change and all that kind of stuff, but they don't have to refrigerate it. And
Right.
it's not hundreds of pounds that they're transporting. It's very interesting
Yeah.
just to compare.
Yeah, and I've done some different vendor events and some. We went to the Green Bay Gamblers game last Friday.
Nice.
They invited us because it was National Pickle Day, so we were there
Well, why not?
handing out samples of pickled beets.
Right?
But it's interesting to hear people's comments because too they're like, oh well, I make applesauce. I make pickled beets. I'm like, okay, great. But then there was one person who's like, oh yeah, we make pickled beets every other year because it's so much work. And I told them how much the jar was, and they're like, we'll take it. We know how much work goes into that. I was like, okay.
You get paid 25 cents an hour, right? To make these.
Yeah, and it is. And so you get you get some people who are like, well, I can do that myself. And then you also get people who are like, oh, I have done it and I understand how much work it is.
Yeah.
So, and same thing with our farm business. I get people who are like, oh, well, I can raise a pig for less than that. Go ahead and raise a pig then. I'm not stopping you.
Yeah, good luck.
If you want to do it, go for it. I don't know. It's a lot of work.
I think I'm going to dare say every business is like that,
Yeah.
right? Like I could grow my own cocaine or whatever, right? I got that when I had the printer repair company.
Yes.
People are like, oh, I could just buy a new one. Like, okay.
Yeah, go do
I've seen
it.
you try to install a driver, so good luck.
Yeah, yeah.
Like it's just a light switch for them to do this thing that you put your heart and soul into.
Right,
Have at her, man.
right.
Live your crap life.
Yeah. When you call me back, I will not answer.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Or we'll charge you 50% more, whatever.
Right, right. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. But, and I think that's just as you're a business owner, you understand more and more how and I think that's one thing too, is I have realized that not every customer is my customer.
That is perfect right there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not everyone is a customer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't need to try to get them to be my customer. So it's taken me a while to learn that.
Well, because you want to please.
Mm-hmm.
That's the one thing. And then you have a product that you know is good.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of feel like, what? How could you not want this, right? What am I doing wrong to not? Like, this is such a good product. Why wouldn't you want it?
But then I think, and I don't know if it comes with time or experience, and you get to the point where you go, you know what? I don't need to work that hard for this person that's going to come back and have an issue with something that I told them was going to, they may not love about it. Like, people will be like, oh, can I get a half a pig, but it's got to be the leanest one you have. And I'm like, none of my pigs are lean because they're heritage breed. They're called lard pigs. That is what's
That's a thing?
Yeah.
Oh, who knew? Okay.
Right. They are fatty because fat is flavor.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if you don't want my flavorful pork, that is fine.
Yeah, no one ever likes lean bacon. Come on, that's just crazy.
Right. But I would rather have them walk away than have them come back and say,
right.
Oh my gosh, there's so, like,
I'm just trying to picture someone saying my pig was too fatty. Like, like we put the treadmill out there. I don't know if they didn't use that. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I've graduated to the point where, I know our product is good. And if I would rather lay it all online and say, like, okay, like the beets. Beets are great, but like people either love beets or hate beets. Like they either have horrific childhood memories about beets.
Yeah, that you have to eat them. Those purple death traps. Ugh.
Right. And so I'm okay with that. I'm like, okay, if you don't want to try them, I will eat them.
Sure.
You don't have. Just go away. Go away.
Go away.
So I would rather have someone go somewhere else than to have them disappointed, I guess. So it's kind of that customer expectation. Like,
Fair.
This is what you're going to get. And if that's not what I want you to understand that if that's not what you're expecting, then this is not for you. So
that's fair. That's one of the challenges I see with food businesses. I mean, beyond the millions of other challenges, but uniformity of quality.
Yeah.
Because you're dealing with a natural product.
Right. So,
I wonder that every time, like even if you take a beer or something like that, something that should be
right.
Or we just expect this beer tasted like that, this particular microbrew, whatever.
Right.
And a year down the road, I'm going to get that same microbrew and I want it to taste exactly the same.
Right. And you know how difficult that is.
Oh my gosh. I didn't actually realize until I interviewed some microbrewers and I was like, oh, you are correct.
Yeah.
All natural stuff.
Right.
And the variables, they're talking about seasons and weather and dirt and farm and transport and storage and oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
like this past year was a great year for cucumbers and zucchinis. I'm sure next year when I need zucchinis to do my curried pickled zucchini, it'll be a crappy year for zucchinis.
So what made it a good year? Was it moisture?
So it was like we had rain and then we had a couple sunny days. And then we had rain and a couple sunny days and rain and a couple sunny days. So our pastures grew fantastic. We also work with a organic vegetable CSA. We do hay on their farm, and then we also partner with them to offer meat shares for their customers. And he was like, every time I would go over to work on the hay fields, he was like, do you need any zucchini? I'm like, I got a garden with zucchini. I'm like, no.
He's just trying to get rid of it?
He was. I'm like, well, if you need to put some in my van before I leave, go ahead. I don't care. But,
is there some kind of zucchini sauce you could make? I don't know.
Well, so I do this curried pickled zucchini, and I missed my window of production because I bought the business the end of August.
Oh, no. Okay.
It is, but I made some at home.
Nice.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I will bring you some next summer.
All right.
It is. I have a store in Neenah that he's like, I gave him all the samples of everything. And he's like, well, you don't have the zucchini? I'm like, no, I won't have it till next summer. He's like, oh. I've got like 10 other things here.
Yeah.
Anything?
Anything?
No.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So, but we go gangbusters on this curry pickle zucchini. It's delicious.
How cool is that?
Yeah.
And that's a recipe that the person you bought it from.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
So tell me a story about the recipes.
Yeah. So the recipes. So one other thing that you'll probably get as a business owner, having processes and procedures.
Systematize everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great. Even though I don't like go on vacation a lot and like I don't have anybody that does my work
I was
for
just
me
going
when
to
I'm
ask, how could you? You have animals, plants, and
No,
that'd be tough.
we do. We did go on vacation last fall, and I still have all the signs up all over the barn, like this group of pigs gets this feed, this group of pigs gets
Oh, how
that feed.
cool
The
is that?
cat's food is in this dish, and
Okay.
but yes, processes and procedures. So with the recipes that I make, that I purchased from the previous owner, they go through what's called a scheduled process. So there's a process authority, and there's very few process authorities. The process authority in Wisconsin, she has retired. But
Did you say the as
yeah,
in one?
she was one. Yeah. So
Okay.
I think there's one in Minnesota, but she's not taking any new people.
Okay.
So I think,
And is this a requirement?
yeah.
So
So
it's a requirement, but there's no one available to do it.
pretty much. So
Oh,
maybe I should work on becoming
Why
process
not?
authority.
Right? Add it to
I
the
don't know.
list, right?
So the process authority, you basically have to take your product, send it for testing, and then the process authority goes through all the test results and your recipe, and they write a scheduled process. So these are the amount of each ingredient. This is the process to make the product. And these are the critical factors. So the pH has to be under 4. The temperature has to be at 180. You have to hold for 5 minutes. All those criteria it has to meet. So that has to then also be registered with the FDA, all the things. So that is what I follow when I make my product. So it's not just like I'm like, oh, well, we'll add a little more of this
Sure.
today and a little more of that today. So it's very precise.
So are the recipes, I think of a recipe for a cake or something like that.
Yeah.
It's 3 cups of flour,
Yeah.
2.5 cups of sugar, whatever. Is something like what you have, because it's more production based, is it percentages or
It's
quantities based on a factor, whatever, so that if you want to make a 10
Yep.
factor, you can...
So say it's like, for the applesauce, say it's like my scheduled process is like 25 pounds of apples. Okay, well, yesterday I used 227 pounds of apples. So I take 200, I divide it
Okay.
out.
So there's math involved,
So
percentages.
yeah. So
Okay.
then I'm like, okay, this is a 4.9% batch.
Got
and
it.
then I multiply all my other ingredients by that to get the right amount.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So simple math.
So let me ask you about inventory, because we were talking about the zucchini, for example. You have the stuff that flies off the shelf and the stuff that doesn't exactly fly off the shelf, but your garden doesn't necessarily care.
Right.
It just grows whatever. And the blem produce doesn't care. It's just like, we got this many pounds of blem, whatever.
Yeah.
So how do you figure out what you're going to make versus what is available?
Well, so maybe ask me that question again in a year and I'll let you know. So right now I've been kind of basing it off of previous year's sales, and trying to get inventory built up to where I think it should be.
Okay.
So, I think it'll be kind of it's never going to be exact, right?
It'd be awesome if it was, but no.
Yeah, never. But
the kids just get to constantly eat beets.
Right. Well, and the good thing is we have the pigs will eat all the vegetables. So, previous years before we had fed up foods, even if our garden was going gangbusters on something, we would just feed it to the pigs.
That makes sense. Okay.
But now the fun thing is I make my applesauce, and then all the peels and the stuff, the parts that we don't use, I bring it home. And now the pigs know when I come out with my container that they're like, oh, this is going to be good.
Oh, interesting.
And they love it. So
how cool is that?
Yeah. So it doesn't have to go into a compost bin or in the garbage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about distribution.
Mm-hmm.
You said you're in all these stores and all these places.
Yeah. So
you're just like,
yeah. So I'm figuring that out. So, with our farm business, we've done everything direct to consumer. And so we have some of that direct to consumer, but then also getting in retail stores is like a whole different animal.
Mhm.
So it's been a little learning curve, and it's a lot of small stores. So I think, some things that the future might bring are a distributor or scaling to a co-packer.
Okay.
So like I'll give you an example for our meat from the farm. Our butchers would be considered our co-packers, right?
Mhm.
So we don't butcher it. We take it to the butcher. They pack it. So they're our co-packer. And then we sell it. So same with the canning business. If I'm looking at scaling, there's one of me, only so much time in the day. So one way to scale would be to hire a co-packer, a factory that already is set up and they can make more of it with
At
the
scale.
bigger equipment at
Okay.
scale. Right. So that may or may not be something, then there's the trick of, well, is it still going to taste the same if I'm not making it? Part of the pickle relish recipe that the previous owner taught me is you get all your cucumbers and everything diced up, and then you salt it and you let it sit. Then you bring it out and you rinse it. And to see if it's rinsed enough, if you rinsed enough of the salt off, you taste it. So she's like, I wasn't sure how I was going to explain how salty or not salty it's supposed to taste. So it's just kind of like she knew, and then she taught me okay, this is too salty. Now this is right. So how do you scale and be like, oh, but you got to taste it and see if it's salty enough or not salty enough? They're going to be like, what are you talking about?
Wow, okay.
So so it's, that's one of those kind of tricks is is this a product that I can send to a co-packer? Is it not? So.
And where's that threshold, I imagine?
Yeah.
Number of jars that you're selling.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the co-packers I looked at for canning, it was like 500 pounds at a time, at a batch. So,
Okay.
and I would.
That's not
It's
doable.
not
Sure.
terrible. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, something to maybe look into.
And then would you have to bring the produce, the blend stuff to them?
Yeah, well, and the whole premise is that I use local Wisconsin grown product. So I would probably still source from my sources. So
Okay.
yeah, so that would be.
So you going there, dropping off, and then coming back and picking up a bunch of jars, or
Yeah, or
something?
having the farm deliver 900 pounds of beets at a time. I don't know.
All right. Wow.
So we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I'm
Sure.
not sure, but yeah. So it's it's those things to think about when you're growing your business and scaling it. It's like, well, what makes sense, and logistically, how does that all work?
Mm-hmm.
Because I could probably find a co-packer, but would they work with my producers, or how does that all work together? So
Sure.
so a lot of things to factor in. And
Fair.
think about. Yeah.
Tell me about the packaging itself, the glass jars and the lids and the labels and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
That's a whole world.
That's a whole world. Yeah. And it's, like we had talked before, when you think about all of that and you think about, okay, my label costs this much, my jar costs this much, the product I put in it costs less than the jar.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to think in some of that. But buying, thousands of jars at a time is a new thing for me, which was,
It's a big day. We got 2,500 jars at the doorstep.
Right. So a whole different thing. But it's just, looking at, okay, what am I going to produce this year, and how can you most cost effectively purchase those things, right? So one of the things with my labels, it has to list the address of the commercial kitchen I produce in. So knowing that I'm producing in one commercial kitchen that's not close to home right now because I just purchased a business, but I'm going to move closer to home. So I can't buy 1,000 labels at a good price because I'm just going to have to reorder labels and toss a bunch of labels. So, yeah, it's a little it's just kind of figuring that whole thing out. Whereas, with our farm business, our butcher handles the labels. I can't touch a label. So part of our inspection when we get inspected for our retail meat license is the inspector looks at the butcher's label, and they have to have they have a number for their inspection number on there. So I can't put any additional labels on there. So now it's funny that I'm like, oh, well, I have to get my labels because this business, I have to put the labels on. So
Interesting.
yeah.
I didn't know that was even a thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me about the nutrition label. Do you have to deal with that?
So I do not have nutrition labels on mine. So that could be another thing as I grow that I do. So that is a whole nother send it away for and pay for testing to get that nutrition panel. So I don't know. They're veggies.
Okay.
So,
should be good for you.
Should be good for you. The applesauce, I don't add any sugar. So
very cool.
It's pretty good for you. It's apples.
It's one of those things I like to eat healthy. And there's so much stuff that has added either sugar or just mystery sweetener of some kind.
Yeah. So I don't add any sugar to the applesauce. So a cranberry applesauce is cranberries and apples and cardamom. Now I gave away my secret spice.
All right. That's a spice.
It's a spice.
Okay.
Yep. And then lemon juice. So lemon juice just helps preserve the color in there. But it's just lemon juice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So nothing as far as preservatives go or sugars and things like that. Yeah. So pretty simple.
Huh.
Yeah.
Tell me about shelf life of the stuff that you produce.
So I put a best by date on 2 years after the production date. It's as long as it's sealed, it's
fine.
It's fine.
Okay.
Same with on our farm business, frozen meat. I usually tell people, like, if they're buying a quarter of beef, like, do you think you'll go through it in 6 months to a year?
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't buy, like my parents. I don't let them buy a quarter of beef because it's going to take them a year to go through it. They can just buy smaller quantities. But if you're going through it within a year, it's going to be fine. You might have something that ends up way on the bottom of the freezer that has been there for a while. It may not, it's still going to be fine to eat. It just might not taste as wonderful as it would have right out of the gate.
Sure. I suppose meat is typically packed in paper of some kind, right? So freezer burn and
paper
like
or so a lot of our butchers use vacuum sealed plastic.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, we have one butcher that uses paper, but the rest of them do vacuum sealed plastic, and that really holds well.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So we've got pretty good shelf life. Just it'd probably be better if you ate it within a year rather than.
All right, that's fair. Plus, power could go out. Your freezer dies or whatever, and now you have a quarter cow that's
that's not
stinking in your freezer.
It's not good.
No, not ideal.
No.
Tell me, from a marketing standpoint, what was done previously with Fed Up, and what are you doing now, or what do you plan on doing?
Yeah, so previously, the previous owner did a lot of the farmers market.
Okay.
So that worked really well for her. We have not done a farmer's market because we're busy.
That sounds like seems farmer's markets seem cool. But it's also a lot of time. You're like, I sold 20 jars. I was here for 5 hours. I had to get up at 3 a.m.
Yeah. It's a big time commitment.
Yeah.
And, we've looked into some and they want you to come, so like one that we looked at is like a 20 or 22 week season and you can only miss 4 Saturdays. And we have kids and sports and things, activities. So that was just going to be really hard for us to do unless we hired someone specifically to do our farmers markets for us. So
hope they show up, right?
Right. If they call in sick, then we're having problems. But so previously a lot was done just face-to-face farmers markets. So with our farm business, I have not drag my feet, but like I have maybe stayed away from having normal business hours.
Okay.
And every once in a while I think, I should do that. I should just commit to having like a business out, like whatever, Saturday morning, but I can't get myself to do it because I enjoy not that I enjoy my flexibility, but I am so used to like, okay, this, somebody needs to be run here. I need to pick this kid up, or, something's going on. My husband needs help outside. So, it's just worked really well for us where we've kind of built our farm business around our customers know they can just order online and pick one of our deliveries or pickup location or pick up at farm, and it gives them a little calendar. They just select the day and time. I have the order ready for them. And sometimes if I have to run out, I just message them and say, hey, it's here. Grab it when you get here. So I've kind of built the business around that flexibility.
Seems like a smart move.
So it works for us in this time in our life, right?
Yeah.
With running kids here, there, and everywhere. So I think that's one thing too, where, when you're setting up your business, it's like, well, you want to make it convenient for the customer, but also it needs to be convenient for us, because if we can't maintain it, then we're going to get burnt out and we can't sustain it. Right. So it needs to work both ways. So that being said, I think I'm gonna maybe we'll see if as summer rolls around, if we'll try out a farmer's market. But otherwise, I think we'll just continue with more of our online sales and working with retail stores to get the product in there. And that's different thing too, because then you're looking at, okay, well, I'm doing wholesale pricing, but I'm not spending the time standing at the farmer's market. There's a trade-off there. So
yeah, you don't have to hear from people that say they can
make it themselves.
can their own beets, whatever.
Right. So, but it's, and I don't know, could change as our kids grow up, or it could not. I don't know.
No, I get it. It reminds me of when you're at a trade show or something like that and you're working a booth and you get somebody talking to you and you're like, we can be done. But you have nowhere to go.
Right.
You can't be like, oh, I'm late for that meeting 3 feet that way.
Right.
Like, I'm stuck here until 5 o'clock.
Right.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
So don't you have a lot of other booths to check out?
Right. I think there's something
Tell
they're
the
giving
popcorn
away.
guy you can make your own popcorn as well.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Carrie, where can people find you?
They can find me online at Fed Up Foods WI, and our farm is mayhillfarmwi.com.
Right.
Both of those.
fedupfoodswi.com. Can they buy right on the website?
They can buy right on the website.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
They can get all the relish. What all do you have? Remind me again.
Yeah, so relish, cranberry, 2 different kinds of cranberry sauce.
Oh,
a special.
Tis the season.
Specialty and a classic, perfect for Thanksgiving or not for Thanksgiving. Our favorite way to use them is in an old-fashioned.
Oh.
Just saying.
Well, that just got cooler. Okay.
Yeah. And applesauce. So I do a cranberry applesauce, a smooth applesauce, a brown butter sage applesauce.
Huh.
You haven't lived life until you've tried it.
All right. Challenge accepted.
Yes. So I will bring you some of that next time too.
Nice.
And then pickled beets, maple ginger, and kickin'.
All right.
Yeah.
Tell me really quick about the old fashioned thing. Just asking for a friend.
So, when you're in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
But so I had made a batch of the classic cranberry sauce one day, got home. So my husband and kids all, what'd you make today? And then they grab a spoon and just
nice.
jump right in.
Like you do.
Right, because why wouldn't you? And the kids were a little shocked because cranberry sauce can be a little tart from the get-go.
Sure.
So they all just grab a whole spoonful. And I was like, well, guys, maybe just dial it back a bit. But also very good on a Ritz cracker with some cream cheese and cranberry sauce. That they liked. But then I, of course, asked my bartender, a.k.a. my husband, to make me an old-fashioned. And I said, hey, why don't you try the cranberry sauce in there? Because, muddled cherries kind of look like cranberries in the cranberry sauce. And I picked them up just that day from the Mr. Brian Roosh from Roosh Century Farms in central Wisconsin. He gave me a nice little tour of his cranberry farm, organic cranberries. fantastic.
Sounds like another podcast guest.
Yes. So, so yeah, just a little cranberry sauce in your old fashioned.
How about
Make
that?
it the rest of the way however you like, your favorite way, and that's the
good stuff.
ticket. Yeah.
Well, that was worth the interview right there. Look at that. Secrets to old fashions.
Right.
I love it. You have found Authentic Business Adventures. Let's thank Carrie for being on the show. Fed Up Farms, WI.com. I'm sorry, Fed Up Foods. Oh my gosh, I messed that up. Fed Up Foods, WI.com.
Yeah.
And then the farm again?
Mayhill Farm, WI.
Mayhill Farm. Excellent. Past episodes can be found morning, noon, and night at the podcast link found at drawincustomers.com. As a reminder, we're locally underwritten by the Bank of Sun Prairie. If you're listening or watching this on the web, if you could do us a huge favor, give the big old thumbs up, subscribe, and of course, share it with your entrepreneurial friends and those friends that need, what are we talking here? Applesauce, pear sauce,
Cranberry sauce, gifts,
sauce.
meat, eggs.
Perfect. Oh yeah, I forgot about the eggs.
Yeah, eggs.
Can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next week. I want you to stay awesome. And if you do nothing else, enjoy your business. And Authentic Business Adventures is brought to you by Calls on Call, offering call answering and receptionist services for service businesses across the country on the web at callsoncall.com. And of course, the Bold Business Book, a book for the entrepreneur and all of us, available wherever fine books are sold.